posted by one of our most interesting countrymen, Mr. Carlos Osueda. A little something that's been confusing the internet, but you know, us silly nationalist rubes. What do we know? Thread. Alrighty. We begin with a tweet from General Flynn's brother, Joseph Flynn I, to the General. Obviously, the brothers Flynn don't mind if we speculate. I make no conclusions here. The tweet from Joseph J. Flynn to his brother General Flynn. Quote, "What a beautiful black sky." At General Flynn. 7:55 a.m., May 5th, 2020. Joseph is referring to the only thing that fired former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe found unsettling in the FBI's interview with General Flynn 3 times. Flynn looked out the window and remarked, "What a beautiful black sky." Article linked. People on Twitter told me that Flynn was quoting J.T. Wild, but Wild was actually quoting Flynn. Another song inspired by General Flynn, J.T. Wild, "Beautiful Black Sky." Link before its news is put in. So I looked around for "What a Beautiful Black Sky" and found that all references were either to Flynn or to J.T. Wild or had no special meaning. Beautiful black sky generally refers to descriptions of outer space, evening dresses, meditation, or things that have no significance. But I did find an amazing poem from 1851 by an amazing man. His name was Guy Humphrey McMaster, and he was considered a rising literary star whose work focused on patriotism. Here's the Old Continentals, written by Humphrey when he was 19 on uspatriotism.org poems. The Old Continentals. It's in the backslash. The last poem that Humphrey wrote, before suddenly becoming a lawyer and then a judge, is titled "The Northern Lights." It's a poem about Armageddon, the ultimate battle of good versus evil. Pay close attention to the final verse. Verse 1. The Northern Lights. Hell's gates swing open wide, Hell's furious chiefs forth ride. The deep doth redden with flags of armies marching through the night, as kings shall lead their legions to the fight at Armageddon. Peers and princes mark I, captains and kilakai. Thou burning angel of the pit Abaddon, charioteers from Hades, land of gloom, gigantic thrones and heathen troopers whom the thunder of the far-off fight doth madden. Lo, night barbaric Khans, lo, the waste gulf's wild clans gallop across the skies with fiery bridles. Lo, flaming sultanas, infernal czars, and deep-ranked squadrons gird the glowing cars of Lucifer and Ammon, towering idols. See yonder red platoons, see the swift dragoons whirling aloft their sabers to the zenith. See the tall regiments whose spears incline beyond the circle of the steadfast sign, which to the streams of ocean never leaneth. Who's yonder dragon crest? Who's that shielded breast? Chieftain Satanas, Emperor of the furnace. What bright centurions, what blazing earls, in mail of hell's hot ores and pearls, alarm the kingdoms with their gleaming harness? All shades and spectral hosts, all forms and gloomy ghosts, all frowning phantoms from the gulf's dim gorges, following the kings in wavering multitude, while savage giants of the night's old brood in pagan mirth toss high their crackling torches. Monarchs on guarded thrones, ruling earth's southern zones, mark ye the wrathful archers of Gehenna. How gleam affrighted lords of Europe's crowns, their blood-red arrows o'er your bastion towns, Moscow and purple Rome and cannon-girt Vienna? Go bid your prophets watch the troubled skies. Why through the vault cleave those infernal glances? Why, ye pale wizards, doth those portents rise, rockets and fiery shafts and lurid lances? Still o'er the silent pole numberless armies roll, columns all plumed and cohorts of artillery, still girdled nobles cross the snowy fields, in flashing chariots and their crimson shields, kindle afar thy icy peaks, Cordillera. On, lords of dark despair, princes of the powers of air, bear your broad banners through the constellations. Wave, all ye Stygian hordes, through the black sky your swords. Startle with warlike signs the watching nations. March, ye mailed multitudes, across the deep far, shine the battlements on heaven's steep. Dare ye again fierce thrones and scarlet powers assail with hell's wild host those crystal towers? Tempt ye again the angel's shining blades, Ithuriel's spear, and Michael's circling truncheon, the seraph cavalier whose winged brigades drove you in dreadful rout down to the night's vast dungeon. Wave your swords in the black sky, you dark hordes. Dare to tempt Michael and his circling truncheon, the warrior whose army utterly defeated you in the last time and sent you into the night's vast dungeon. Pretty powerful stuff. I've said for a long time that we're living through the Armageddon. It seemed to be a purely spiritual fight, but then the plague hit and it became a physical Armageddon. I haven't revealed what I know about a lot of stuff, spiritual and otherwise. Maybe someday when General Flynn has more time, I can give him a presentation that he would find very interesting as a military and intelligence officer. It's all primary documents that have no bearing on today, but instead tell a story from 74 years ago. The publishing industry took a massive hit from COVID-19, so the manuscript of my real-life story will sit idle until further notice. Maybe General Flynn would like to read it, but these long-ago events are things to which he can relate. They explain why I continued to defend him regardless of the harassment that came day and night for years. See, this was my chance to stand up for not only myself, but for people who had terrible things done to them by governments that they trusted. And when I say the government, I mean a tiny handful of people. People wonder why I don't believe in the conventional conspiracy theories. It's because one man can do incalculable damage, and to this day, nobody is aware of him. Nobody. One man can hoodwink the world. This man is the reason why I'm a fanatical supporter of Donald Trump. The man I'm talking about and who I wrote about was Satan's Trump. He had all of Trump's gifts, and he used them all for evil. Most people have no idea what a good man Donald Trump is. He has the brain power to be unstoppable evil, but he chose to use his powers for good. I knew Satan's Trump. He was not interested in fame or fortune. He hid all his skills. I've uncovered a tiny fraction of what he accomplished. It's beyond belief, but I've documented it. So this is why I fight for Trump and Flynn. I've seen firsthand what can happen when men of that caliber chose to walk at night. Food for thought, everyone, eh? I enjoyed finding that poem. Guy Humphrey McMaster was 21 when he wrote it. Wow. End. Long live the